Well, I seem to be making a thing of this, don't I? Sat in the car reviewing Norwich City games. The last time I was in this exact position, actually, was post-defeat on opening day against Oxford United. I just got back from the Kassam. I'd left sunny Norfolk on that day with high hopes and excitement for a new season, left feeling utterly dejected and quite concerned about how this season might play out. And it's not been that long since opening day. A couple of weeks. We've had 3 games since then, 2 in the league and 1 in the cup, and we're unbeaten since that stage. And granted, it's been a win against Stevenage and 2 draws against Blackburn and Sheffield United, but it feels as if things are moving in the right direction ever so slightly and slowly, but it does feel as if there's a project here. And that there are certain things to get excited about. This is by far the finished product. There are still mistakes in this side, and there are still things where you look at and go, oof, we need work. But I thought Norwich were, on the most part, pretty decent against Sheffield United today. I thought that they, for a good 25 minutes of that first half, looked really exciting and created chances, and I think we'll be really disappointed that they didn't go into half-time leading. Boa Science had a good opportunity that he probably felt like he should have tucked away, and Josh Sargent nearly got on the end of that. It was a beautifully worked goal, a stunning touch from Emmanuel Forson, who was certainly always part of the action in that first half, both for good reasons and bad reasons. And it was a lovely finish from Josh Sargent for the goal, and that was what you want to see more of from Norwich City. Really flowing, quick football, Sargent off the shoulder, one-on-one. They are the types of goals that you associate with Josh Sargent. And actually, if he'd have had those shooting boots on against Blackburn last weekend, then we would have won that game by a few goals. Instead, we drew it. So there were moments in that first half that were great. We still looked a little bit shaky defending. It was a sloppy goal to give away, really. Lost possession quite cheaply. It was a great finish from their young midfielder, but it was disappointing to give a goal away in that fashion, and I think we'll be disappointed that was the case. Again, Emmanuel Forson was a play for most of that first half and was taking risks, and certainly looking to make kind of progressive decisions, and still early on in his Norwich City career, he looks really exciting. But there are also mistakes in his game, and I'm sure with time they will be ironed out. But it felt as if it was slightly frantic in that first half, and it could have gone either way, as the cliche goes. But it really could have done, and I think although the teams were level, Johannes Hoff-Thorup would have been the more content of managers. Second half felt entirely different. It felt controlled. It felt like Norwich were almost not necessarily content with a point, but happy to sit back a little bit more, take less risks, and hope that an opportunity would arise late on in the game. And opportunities did arise. There was a chance for Onel Hernandez down the left-hand side after he came on. There was a chance near the end, I think it was for Josh Sargent. Couple of chances that they'll be pleased that they dug out and unfortunately didn't take. But I thought the most telling thing from today's game, 2 substitutions. Liam Gibbs came on and Onel Hernandez came on. And other than that, you look down the substitutions list, there was very little on that bench. You had Elliot Miles, you had Brad Hills. It was an incredibly young bench and particularly light in attacking options. And with a week or so to go of the transfer window, it does feel as if Norwich need to make a couple more additions. I think we need another defensive midfielder. I think we look light in that area, and I think we need another striker. To put it frank, Ante Shinats made his debut today, and I thought was fairly ineffective. I wasn't expecting loads, and I didn't get very much from him. He's certainly tall. Lost the ball on a few occasions. It would be harsh to judge him based off of 84 minutes, considering he landed in the country, I think, about 48 hours ago. But you've got him. You've obviously got Oscar Schwartau, who's come in today on game day. Wasn't registered in time, but I suspect we'll see him at Selhurst Park on Tuesday in that cup game. And I think, again, that presents a good opportunity to test a few of these few of these new lads, younger lads, test new systems. I said that ahead of the Stevenage game, and actually I think that these early cup games will be really valuable for Johannes Hoff-Thorpe to try and work out his squad and to try and work out what extra reinforcements we need. I think it's interesting as well that, you know, we've signed Oscar Schwartau. We didn't see Kenneth Bow on the bench today. He must be looking at things going, where's my opportunity coming? Might be a loan deal for him. Abu Kamara has obviously requested a transfer request, and that's probably off the back of seeing Gabe Forsyth starting ahead of him, and he's going, what more can I do? You know, 6 months on loan at Pompey doing really good things and then can't get in the squad at Norwich. So there's certainly movers and shakers, and it's going to be fascinating to see this last week of the transfer window. I think actually on the whole, up to now, we've done a good job in the transfer window. We've lost Rowe, granted, but good money. We've lost Gabi Sarah, which is a massive dent. And we've lost Adam Eder. So attacking wise, we've lost some talent, but we've made 50 million quid off of those 3 players. So we've started to reinvest it. Big money on Ante Sinat. Considerable money on him. Becomes one of our biggest ever signings, and there's certainly a profile. I mean, every one of our signings, Callum Doyle, who I thought was very, very good today, and is definitely more of a centre back than a left back. 20, 21, Jose Cordoba, similar age, Oscar Schwartau, 18, Sinat is like 20. So young profile, hungry players. We're certainly moving in the right direction, but I think we need more reinforcements. It feels as if, let's say Josh Sargent got injured, I don't know, in the cup. He probably won't play, but let's just say that he does. You're not far away from a crisis again, and we need to avoid being in that position, because the particularly in midfield and particularly in that striking area, it's a long season, pretty much 50 games with cup competition as well. You need a thick squad, and I think we need a few more reinforcements. But Kenny McLean mentioned it in his post-match interview. They're seeing progress on a daily basis. I think there is a buy-in from certainly the players that have come in, obviously, and a couple of the older guard as well. I think there's a buy-in with Johannes Hoff-Thorpe. I like the way that this is progressing. I'm finding it more exciting than last season's football. I think it is a very different style. I think we are quicker to move. Both the Blackburn game and today, I've been genuinely, excited by, and I can't say that for too many games under David Wagner last season. And this isn't a comparison. Like, Wagner got us into the playoffs, and if that happens again this season, it'll be a monumental achievement from Johannes Hoff-Thorpe. But it feels as if we're building something. We've now drawn our last 2 games and arguably should have won them both, based on the way that the games have gone against the good Blackburn side, who were still unbeaten, granted only 3 games in, but look decent, and a Sheffield United side who were in the Premier League last year and have a lot of talent in their side. So that feels positive. And I think the difficult thing is knowing expectation, and that will be set by the club internally, and each fan will have different expectations. I'm expecting somewhere around the mid-table finish. I'd love to have a sniff of the playoffs for the majority of this season. I don't think we will get there, but some people will still be expecting to gain promotion. We've made big money on player sales, and we probably will spend a little bit more, and we already have spent quite a bit of cash for a championship side. We've got considerable wages going out, and people will look at that and go, we should be in the top 6 as an absolute minimum. And we can go on about performances, and I think ultimately at this stage of the season it is all about performances, and are we seeing progression? And I think we are, but we will be based on results. And 3 games in, we're still looking for that first win. I think it has been a fairly tough start, to be honest. Newly promoted side away from home, and then 2 decent championship outfits at Carrow Road. I think that those positive results are coming, but I must say, certainly based off of the last 3 games at Carrow Road, including that cup game, I've been impressed with what I've seen. I think defensively we look better. I was really impressed with Callum Doyle today. As I said, I thought Jack Stacey had his best game of the season. I think there's There's still debate around Duffy, who actually I thought was fine today, around whether it's him or whether it's Jose Cordoba. I think it will be Cordoba by the end of the season. I think there's options there, which feels positive. Then going forwards, it doesn't feel like there's a whole load of options. You've got that midfield kind of three of Nunes, McLean and Forson, who I think as a three are more than fine. I maybe like a bit more of a brute, a bit more of a defensive midfielder in there. But you're thin. If one of those gets injured, suddenly you're struggling a bit. And as I mentioned earlier, when you're making two substitutions in a game that feels like it could be one, and those two substitutions are Liam Gibbs and Ollie Hernandez, you maybe think that some more reinforcements are made. But it was a well-taken goal by Josh Sargent. I thought for large parts of that game, there's reasons to be cheerful about, and that feels good to say. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think the thing, I've just done Canary Call, and the thing I kept asking people is, what are your expectations for this season? And then we can have a conversation based off of that, because I think for most campaigns over the last 5, 6, 7 seasons, it has been top 6, and that has been the absolute minimum requirement. I think it's a bit different this season, and patience is needed, of course, but results are needed as well, and we've just got to hope that they come. But I think based on today's showing, they will come. So let me know. A week left of the transfer window, loads of videos still to come. So be sure to lock yourself into TNC and catch up on all of that news. But yeah, Norwich City have drawn 1-1 with Sheffield United. I think we were the better team of the two. Let me know your thoughts on Ante Siernak, I think that's his name, who was fairly quiet today, but hopefully things to be excited about. See you later, everyone. Bye-bye.